edition of the Oregon Sports Network.
And Oregon is going to play in the national championship game.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
Man, it feels great to be a Duck.
Give it to me, baby. My house. I'm taking it there.
Their competitors, they'll want to put the O on.
Three, got it!
We're going to compete to a standard every day.
The Oregon standard.
Rebound. Up and in. 1 point more to go.
The opportunity to play, put Oregon on your chest, should mean a great deal to you.
Unloads on one into left field. Back toward the wall. Gone!
This program is staged to compete and to win championships.
Oregon wins!
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, let's talk Oregon athletics.
It is Athletic Director Tuesday, the final Athletic Director Tuesday before the last regular season football game. That means we're going to hit on a lot of football. If you can believe it, today, if you follow the Oregon Duck tickets office on Twitter, you've already seen this, but if you can believe it, submission requests for the 2023 season tickets are already being taken as of today. I like to hear that, Rob.
Absolutely. And we had an incredible home season, ended on 3 sellouts. No doubt the Autzen atmosphere had an impact. So, let's do it again in 23.
I love that. Rob Mullens, Oregon Athletic Director, is here with us. Rob, I have to tell you, my wife picked up our Thanksgiving turkey this morning.
Nice.
I'm excited about
How
that.
big? You go big?
Oh, yeah, 20 pounds.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, no, I love Thanksgiving. And, I'm one of those people that the actual Thanksgiving dinner meal isn't my favorite part of Thanksgiving. The soup that comes from the turkey is my favorite part.
Ah, fantastic.
Yeah,
you got a skilled chef.
I try. I think I know enough to be dangerous.
Okay, good.
Which dangerous might be the key word there.
There you go.
Oregon Athletic Director Rob Mullens joining us, though. We've got volleyball coming up. We've got men's and women's basketball up in Portland. We're going to talk a little bit across country, a lot about hoops. Let's start with football, though. You mentioned the crowd. Just the season review for the home crowd at Autzen, pretty spectacular.
Phenomenal. It's one of the best, in our mind, the best home atmosphere in all of college football. And just the different elements. The student section was just maybe as good as I've ever seen it in my 13 seasons here. In early, packed, engaged. The energy in there Saturday with all the sing-along songs. Obviously Rachel and her team in marketing did a phenomenal job of just keeping the fans engaged. And when you get to this time of the year with what's on the line and the level of opponent, that home field is worth the 3 points that it took to win that game.
Boy, it seems like home field at Autzen, I've said this before, it's worth more than 3.
I certainly feel that way. There's no doubt. It's in across this league, I think people know it's the toughest place in this league to play.
Yeah, and now goals are still in front of the Ducks, so it's a big rivalry week. It's always big when it's rivalry week. It's really big when Oregon State can spoil Oregon's chance to go to a Pac-12 championship game, and the Ducks have an opportunity still in front of them to go win a conference championship.
Yeah, you got, combined 17 wins between the two teams. Both having outstanding years, and still a lot's in front of them. So a lot on the line.
Rivalry games are always fun. We're going to talk about senior night for Oregon volleyball because it's really rivalry week because the Beavers are in town for senior night at 6 o'clock on Friday before Oregon volleyball travels to Berkeley this afternoon for a noon start against Cal tomorrow. That means Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach, is actually going to talk with us on the show coming up today instead of his regular Wednesday slot. And we're going to hear from Oregon football head coach Dan Lanning from his weekly press conference. Chance at a Pac-12 title, though, Rob. That's a big deal. You can never take that for granted.
Absolutely. And whether it's football or any other sport, that this league sponsors, when you're competing for a Pac-12 championship, you are putting yourself in for a high seed, a great bowl, conference champion. We honor conference championship teams, and it's something that collectively as a group you'll always be able to celebrate together. So it means a lot.
The momentum for a first-year head coach like Coach Lanning, the season's still got a lot in front of us. But I did want to ask you about that because I say, hey, believe it or not, the 2023 season ticket submission requests are open, but that's a great thing, right, that there is a lot of momentum now already.
No, there is. It's obviously it's been a fun year. You're sitting at 9 wins, a chance to go play a huge game on Saturday for an opportunity to get a 13th game and then a 14th game. When you think about college football as a student athlete, you're really only guaranteed 12 games a year, an opportunity to earn a 13th as a conference championship, a 14th as a bowl game for all the time and energy that you put in. That's a great reward.
Yeah. We're going to talk about the hoop season coming up in a little bit too, and I think it's really funny that we're sitting here talking about a football team that's on a great trajectory, and then you talk about the two basketball teams going up to Portland. I mean, if you're a Duck fan, right, plus volleyball going on, this is a pretty great week.
It is a huge week. Obviously, you've got the PK85, the PKI, and the level of competition. That what they created back at the PK80 and they're duplicating here is a regular season event unlike any other, and the opportunity for our men's basketball and our women's basketball teams to go up, and I think women are going to play number 8 North Carolina with an opportunity, if you win that game, to likely play an Iowa State team that's 5 or 6.
Yep.
And then on the men's side of the draw, it's the who's who in college basketball. So incredible opportunity, great experience for our student athletes to get to go to the campus, tour the campus at Nike, and be involved in a tournament like this.
Before I talk more about this tournament in particular, I did want to ask you about the women's Final Four, awarded to Portland in 2030. That's cool.
It is a huge, huge win for the city of Portland, for the state of Oregon. Obviously, with what Oregon State's done in women's basketball, what we've done in women's basketball, we've had those regionals in Portland and seen what they've been able to do. And then to build on that, and this was our second run at getting a Final Four collectively, and Jim Etzel and the folks at Sport Oregon, hats off to them. Great opportunity to have a huge event and to show off Portland and the Moda Center. But in addition to that, I don't know how many people are aware, is the women's basketball also has their coaches convention at the same time. So you're going to have, I think they said, between 2,000 and 3,000 college coaches in town, with all the economic impact that comes with having a convention of that size. So, obviously great for women's basketball, great for the city of Portland, great for our state. And if you do it right, like we've shown here that we've done with the NCAA track championships, then you can all of a sudden bid for the volleyball Final Fours and get in the cycle of women's basketball Final Fours.
How big of a deal is it, even beyond the state of Oregon, to have it on the West Coast? It seems like it doesn't come to the West Coast often.
It doesn't. And again, if you've been to Final Fours, the cities where you can do a lot of things on foot. I mean, downtown Portland sets up perfect.
Yeah.
To house everybody, great restaurants, great entertainment, and I'm sure there'll be an easy shuttle system set up to get you over to the Moda Center. So I think once people experience that event here, they're going to say, put that on the repeat list. Yeah, because of the way it's set up.
Continuing with Rob Mullens, Oregon Athletic Director. So with the Portland tournament this week, you talked about who's who for men's basketball, for women's basketball. This really is a great celebration of college basketball and a great celebration for a guy who means an awful lot to this place.
Well, no doubt. I mean, I think it was the perfect way back at the PK80 to celebrate all that Mr. and Mrs. Knight have done for college basketball. The partnership between Nike, the Moda Center, the folks at the Blazers, and ESPN, and then to be able to repeat it, I think, again, there's no way to put into words what Mr. and Mrs. Knight have done for college sports, college basketball, and certainly Oregon athletics. But this is a fun way to celebrate it.
How important is it to continue to play games, tournaments, both of the like in Portland during the basketball season?
I think it's critical. Obviously, we have a huge fan base there, and we want to stay connected to that for sure as much as we can. Those folks travel down to Eugene to support us. We sure appreciate that. We know when there's a 7:30 game like we had last Saturday, the difficulty in that. By the way, did you see the TV ratings for that football game?
Very good.
Pretty crazy. But, yes, Portland is really critical to us, and great to be able to be there with both of our teams for the weekend, and hope we can see incredible crowds. It's also great for college basketball.
Yeah.
With the success of college football, the emphasis on the postseason, particularly the playoff, it feels like college basketball doesn't get the attention that it needs or deserves until mid to late January.
Agreed.
But when you have these types of events, it gets more attention on college basketball.
I even talking about that. It didn't go UCLA's way, but UCLA, another Pac-12 team that was playing in a big-time tournament. Those big-time tournaments do draw the eyeballs. You talk about the TV numbers, right? I mean, it does draw the eyeballs in the midweek matchups.
Yeah, it certainly it gets the attention focused on basketball a little sooner. And, over the years, again, with the success of college football, we've seen the creep of college basketball, the attention on college basketball starting later and later. Obviously, March Madness is huge.
Yeah.
But to get people engaged in the regular season, even in the non-conference regular season, kind of takes these types of events. And I think there will be plenty of attention on Portland this weekend.
Yeah, I love that. Rob Mullens joining us, Oregon Athletic Director. I want to go back to the TV numbers if you could. I wanted to make sure I had the number right. 2.5 million viewers, which is the most watched Saturday game for ESPN since about 2015 that kicked off that late.
That Saturday night window. Yeah, I mean, that's a huge number for any time slot. But when you think about the 7:30 Pacific kick to get 2.5 million viewers, that is a huge number.
People stayed
up
for
most since
that.
2015.
Yeah, for that slot.
Yeah, that's strong.
Yeah, most since 2015, and it's because the Ducks were in it.
The Ducks do drive TV viewership. You got a 10 ranked 10 versus 12.
Yep.
Some people, it was basically a playing game for a right to be in the conference championship. There's just a lot on the line.
Yeah, that's what makes it fun.
Absolutely.
You want to be in the conversation.
Yeah, you want to be November to remember. That's right.
Tonight, CFP rankings. Any predictions?
No.
Are you glad in some ways?
I was on the other side of that often, so that's a good question, but no predictions.
Tremendous experience, no doubt about it.
Unbelievable experience.
But is it nice now that you've had the experience and you could be on the outside a little bit?
I enjoy watching the show and talking about the experience. Yes.
That's a great way to put it. I did want to ask you, Rob, on the football front. A lot of fans have asked, like, hey, it's the rivalry series game, and the Civil War name, not using it anymore. And I know a lot of fans are like, well, is there going to be a name? Any update on that?
No real update. Obviously there's a lot going on in college athletics that's taken our focus, whether it's realignment or TV or NIL or transfer portal. So not much progress on that front. As we've talked about on here, when we collaborated with Oregon State, obviously Dennis Dixon was the first one to call us and raise the issue about the name, and he had talked to several of his teammates, and I believe even had talked to some Oregon State student athletes, and that began a conversation. And we had a conversation internally with some of our student athletes, including Javon Holland, who was a football student athlete at the time, and then made the decision to change the name, and haven't come up with a new name yet, but it doesn't change the intensity of the rivalry. I think the game still has as much significance as ever.
Javon Holland, also one of the pro Ducks that was actually in attendance on Saturday. It was cool to see him.
It was great to see so many. Obviously, Haloti, Javon, Verone McKinley was back. Kellen Clemens was great to have back. So those guys, maybe they all added up to 3 points as well. But it was fun to see and hear how they're doing. And they were so excited to be back. That's kind of what it's – I mean, that's the once a Duck, always a Duck in play. Yeah. And appreciate them all being back here to support so many of the baseball alumni back. So it was a fun weekend.
Yeah, the Pro Ducks for Oregon baseball, the Home Run Derby. If you didn't get a chance to see any of that, if you were here on site, started around 2 o'clock at PK Park. Yeah, the Home Run Derby for the alums was a lot of fun. I got – tremendous feedback from Oregon baseball on that. Seeing some of those MLB Ducks, man, that's cool to see for that program.
It is cool, and it's fun to see when those when they come back and see their teammates and they all get together again. That's what college experience is about, right? It's creating these moments. If you win a conference championship, that's a moment, but all that you go through together and you build these relationships, when you come back, it's fun to see.
Well, a personal story, Verone McKinley, who could be a broadcaster today if he wanted to. He saw me walking around on the sideline with my headphones. He and I linked up, and I said, well, hey, you're doing great at the next level. He said, yeah, thanks, but also, how's the broadcast going? That's what I love, just personal stuff, like getting to do the interviews with Verone McKinley. Like, we famously had Verone do an interview himself. And, that's what it's all about. Those connections, even beyond football, even beyond the sports.
No doubt. And, those are some outstanding student athletes that people saw perform at a high level. But like you said, we get to spend time with them, outside the lines, and they're just outstanding human beings. And obviously have left a lasting impact on Oregon athletics.
I do want to ask you about Doug Volleyball. Getting ready to potentially host at Matthew Knight Arena.
Heck yeah.
Can you take fans through like the process of how does it go from the administrator chair? Because when we talk to Coach Ulmer coming up in a little while, believe me, I'm probably not going to mention the fact that they might be hosting because you don't want to jinx anything, and they still got 2 regular season matches left. But a little different when you're preparing to host an event.
Yeah,
maybe.
Obviously you have to be prepared, and there's a bid process you have to submit, and that's well ahead of whether you would know even if you would be selected. So, Pooh Wasson heads up our championships, and he works with Billy Blood and in the business office, and Mike Duncan, Devin Shea, Les, the whole event team, to put together a bid. Should we be seated high enough or ranked high enough to be able to host? And so that process goes on, and you submit it, and obviously our team is playing really, really good. Yeah. Great crowd. Friday night, good crowd Sunday. I would encourage everybody that can get out to be out there for senior day. Obviously, it's the rivalry game, but, this team has accomplished amazing things, and to send them into postseason the right way. And then if we are fortunate enough to be selected to host, which looks like we're sitting in good position, you want to fill the arena. Again, It's just another statement that when we bid on every sport, we can execute it the right way, and also create a great student-athlete experience for all teams that are here, and, of course, the home field advantage.
And some seniors that deserve the right send-off on Friday night.
Absolutely. I mean, they've accomplished a lot. We've talked about it before. Brooke Nuneviller is one of the all-time greats ever for Oregon volleyball, and just a real – it's just fun to watch. And we've got Mimi's won, 9 Freshman of the Weeks?
Yeah. Offensive player and Freshman of the Week this week, by the way, Mimi Collier.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great sport. It's action-packed. The athleticism is fantastic. The competition in this league is as good as it gets. Yeah. So I would just encourage everybody to get out there on Friday. I think it's at 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock.
For some senior day festivities and cheer on the Ducks.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm happy to report, I don't know if Ryan has the picture ready because don't worry, we got a full plan here for Coach Ulmer. But, Rob, I'm happy to report to you that the Ducks are 1-0 in the Jordy Mack era.
There you go. Let's go.
So far, so good. Now, parent to parent. If he slept through shout, how should I respond?
He was just saving his energy for the competition.
Okay. All right.
There you go.
I appreciate that answer. I felt like a little bit of a bad parent.
No. Yeah, at that age, you better get to sleep when you can get it.
I'll take that.
In fact, if you can take a nap during shout, I'd encourage you to do that as well.
The headphones were magical.
Oh, absolutely.
I'll tell you, it was game changing. Well, Rob, normally I keep you through another break, but I know you got a lot going on, and we got a short week. I want to let people hear from Coach Lanning and Coach Ulmer. So anything else that fans should know?
No, just hope everybody has a safe and happy holiday. Again, plenty of opportunities to engage with the Ducks, whether it's at Matthew Knight Arena, Child Center at University of Portland, Moda Center, Memorial Coliseum, Reser Stadium. So big weekend. Hopefully we can continue the momentum and finish strong.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Going to get a timeout when we come back. Dan Lanning's weekly press conference, some news and notes around Oregon volleyball, and Matt Ulmer is going to join us ahead of their trip to Berkeley on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hey, Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you out, because only you can prevent wildfires.
Hey, Assistant Smokey Bear, call me Papa Bear, because I'm grilling up dinner. Do you get it?
Yes, good job.
So, what should I do with all these coals?
Don't just toss them out. Put them in a metal container because those embers can start a wildfire.
I understand. The stakes are high.
Ha, 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 ha.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Uh-oh, Brad's buzzed.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he's starting with the woots. And now a speech.
I just want to say that friendship is about heart and brain. Who's with me?
Good thing is, he knows when he's buzzed.
And my brain is saying, when it's time to go home, somebody call me a ride.
Love that guy.
Me too.
Know your buzzed warning signs? Call for a ride when it's time to go home. Buzz driving is drunk driving. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio, Duck Insider is presented by On Point Community Credit Union. My thanks to Rob Mullens for joining us. So we've got Coach Lanning and Coach Ulmer coming up, as well as some post-practice interviews. Duck fans, be on the lookout. Oregon football trading cards are back. They're coming soon exclusively to your local Oregon Jackson's food stores. Collect them all. Jacksons.com for store locations. Jacksons, let's go, bringing back the Oregon football trading cards. Oregon outside hitter Mimi Collier, Pac-12 Offensive Freshman of the Week, and Player of the Week. She extends her record to 8 freshman selections and is now the 4th player in conference history to win both awards in the same week. Just the 4th player in conference history to win both Offensive Player and Freshman of the Week in the same week. Pretty tremendous, huh? Pretty tremendous. Also a note on Oregon softball, Melissa Lombardi announcing on Monday that sophomore pitcher Elise Sokolski is transferring from UConn and will join the Ducks for the 2023 season. Sokolski was a unanimous All-Big East first-team selection as a freshman in 2022 and led the conference in wins with 20 and strikeouts with 180. She went 20-6 with a 2.55 ERA for the Huskies last season. Welcome to Eugene, Elise Sokolski. Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, he met with the media, and I got to tell you, anytime that Coach Lanning meets with the media, we listen on the Oregon Sports Network.
Well, certainly excited to get back at it. Can't thank our fans again enough for creating such an amazing atmosphere at Autzen. This entire year has been elite, and that's credit to our fans and the job that they've done and the impact they've made on that field. It was a lot of fun for our players. It was a tough game, a really tough win against a good team. So exciting for us. Certainly it doesn't get any easier because Oregon State's playing some really good football right now. We're ready to roll against them.
And give us an idea of how different, if at all different, Bo's week will be this week, and at what point of diminishing returns of mental reps. Like if there's anybody on the offense, I'm not saying he couldn't be ready again, but is there a false assumption that, well, because he played, obviously he's going to be that much better off on Saturday, or is that the high degree of optimism and the treatment and et cetera will put him in a better spot?
Yeah, I think it's evaluated every single day. We'll see. We have a great medical staff. They do a good job. Bo understands. He's been playing the game for a long time. He understands the way his body feels. Obviously, he was able to go out there on Saturday, but keep evaluating as we get closer each game.
Dan, just what did you see on the tape defensively, and was their performance on Saturday how you envisioned your defense playing this season?
You can go back and watch the tape. It's never as good and never as bad as you think it is at times. And there was a lot of plays that we felt like we could have performed a whole lot better. I think our guys played with great energy and juice. You created some takeaways. We felt like takeaways was going to be the difference in the game. Didn't realize we were going to turn it over. So that's a big piece. We needed every one of them, right? We needed every takeaway we were able to create on defense. But I thought at times we played with great energy, enthusiasm, and had a good understanding of what Utah was trying to do. Some guys came and did a good job performing.
I understand why so much tension was on Bo, but how close was Ryan to not being able to play on Saturday, and just what's his progression going to be like this week as well?
Yeah, I'm not going to spend a ton of time talking about injuries, obviously, but we have a lot of tough kids. It's that time of year when you're banged up and you're hurting, and it's not week one anymore, right? So we have a lot of guys that are banged up, and Ryan's certainly one of those guys that's battled through it, made sure he's made a way to the field.
His status is a little uncertain for Saturday, but how unique of a player is Jack Coletto for Oregon State?
Yeah, I was actually thinking back when he was at Arizona Western as a quarterback. I think I was at Memphis at the time, which was a long, long time ago, and recruiting. I remember watching him play, QB, and thinking he was a really, obviously a real talent. But now you watch him on fourth down lineup and carrying the ball, and the intensity he carries it with, and then he can turn around and sling the ball down the field too. He's a dynamic player. He's certainly different and a challenge for us to be prepared for.
What about this Oregon State offensive line stands out on tapes, specifically in the run game?
I mean, extremely well coached, right? They're a team that runs wide zone stretch scheme, really well. Their quarterback gets them, into advantageous looks. He's able to make sure they take the ball the right direction, and these guys get good movement, right? They find seams and their backs run hard, really similar to the backs that we just saw this past week at Utah. They're north and south guys, but you can tell the O-line's really well coached. That really shows up.
The status of a couple other guys with Forsyth, JPJ, who went down, and Chase, who tried to give it a go pregame. Just where do each of them stand as the week starts?
Yeah, I'm not talking about injuries.
Other personnel related. You have a couple of guys who are at 4 games in Ioli, Devin Jackson, and Ben Roberts, and they've all traveled before. Given that, will Kavika, Harrison Taggart, and Mells be more likely to go this week?
It doesn't. That really has no bearing on their availability.
Stylistically, are there any similarities between Utah and Oregon State? Do they like to play maybe the same style of football?
There's some similarities, certainly some differences as well. Both really well-coached teams, right? I think we're playing some of the best coached teams at the end of the season here. I think that shows up. They game plan. They have, they try to create schematic advantages with the way they play. But certainly a little bit more, big personnel at times, 12, 21, some bigger personnel groups offensively that's a little bit different. And then defense right now, they're really rolling. They create some really unique looks. They've incorporated some simulated pressures, that are tough. But they just play really sound and physical.
Yeah, Coach, obviously their offense is a little banged up. Damian Martinez, 100 yards plus 5 weeks in a row now. What about him is so unique, and what do you guys got to do to kind of neutralize his game?
Tackling is going to be really important in this game. We thought tackling was important in the last game. I think that's really important in this game. Again, they've done a good job. They have more rushing attempts than anybody else in the conference, game in and game out, and they do a good job of running the ball. They're committed to it. And they're able to find extra hats at the point of attack. So we're going to have some guys win some one-on-ones and then do a great job tackling when we get the opportunity.
After the game, you said your team might play their best football with their backs against the wall and maybe people are doubting them. Why do you think your team is wired that way?
I don't know. I don't have necessarily an answer for that other than, there's no quit in any of the guys in our room. And, I think, other people can doubt, but that doesn't change the way we approach things.
Dan, I know you're not talking about injuries, but Stephen Jones did come back from an injury. Just how do you think he performed, and especially once JPJ came down?
Yeah, it was fun to see him get back on the field. He's been coaching so hard on the sideline these last few games. I know it was really important for him to get back out there and help his team, and he was able to help us. So I know he had a lot of fun. I know he's looking at that film saying, okay, what can I do better, which is, good. That's what we want him to do, but it was nice seeing him out there.
Given the fervor over your decision on fourth down last week, if Bo doesn't pick up the third down, 4th and 1 at the 41 minute to go, what do you do?
Probably go.
Coach, obviously, nameless, faceless opponent, but there's no underestimating what this rivalry is to everybody that lives in this state. Does it feel any different when you walk in to get prepared for this, knowing that it's Oregon State this week?
It doesn't take any. It doesn't take any extra, juice for our guys. I think they appreciate this game and knows what it means. I love rivalries when it comes to rivalries in college football, so this is certainly one of the great ones, and I think our guys are excited and ready to go play it.
Beginning of the year, you were rotating running backs quite a bit, and obviously Bucky and Noah have played really well. Is it just those two guys have elevated themselves, or is there a strategic way of cutting down the carries for everybody else and just those two getting most of the reps lately?
No, I think they've performed well. I think we've got good backs across the board. A lot of it, again, is based on situation. We didn't go under center as much last game. Some of that's based on, the way our quarterback felt, right? The fact we had a new center. Some of that might continue to change as we move forward. But we have good backs across the board that we feel real comfortable, carrying the rock.
Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach, meeting with the media in his weekly press conference last night. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. We're going to get a timeout. Come back. More from Coach Lanning. Matt Ulmer is going to join us as well. Oregon volleyball head coach. Rivalry week for them, too. Keep it here on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
Dear gas prices, Toyota is the #1 retail brand for electrified vehicles for 22 years. That says it all. Toyota hybrids. Find yours at toyota.com. Toyota, let's go places.
Based on manufacturer estimate CY 2000 through 2021 sales.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
To your children's eyes to see the true magic of a forest. It's a storybook world for them. You look and see a tree. They see the wrinkled face of a wizard with arms outstretched to the sky. They see treasure in pebbles. They see a windy path that could lead to adventure. And they see you, their fearless guide through this fascinating world.
Find a forest near you and start exploring at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
Scott just said something that genuinely shocked me. I'm beside myself right now. Alex? Besides yourself? Yeah, he's beside himself right now. So, welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. I'm Joey Mack, I think, in the Country Financial Studio. Let's get back to Dan Lanning so that I can think for a second. Brought to you by the Willamette Valley Cancer Institute and Research Center. Fight like a duck with exceptional cancer care close to home. Part 2 with Coach Lanning, I think.
Carrying the rock.
How much easier were your decision making or the process of kicking a field goal on Saturday with how good Camden Lewis has been this season?
Yeah, Cam's done a great job. When his number's been called, he's been able to answer, and that's something it's nice to know. We can all rely on him to do his job consistently, and he's done a great job of it.
Just now that you've lived in this state for a year and with the proximity between these schools, have you experienced this rivalry in any way, just in terms of seeing Beavers fans out or interacting with them? Have you experienced this rivalry in any sort of way like that?
A little bit, nothing too crazy, right? It feels like most of them stay up in Corvallis, and I kind of hang around Eugene.
Given that Jamal's got 2 targetings, just how much more do you emphasize because of what the extra penalty is, should he get a third, and what that would mean given you're at this point in the season, and a third would be really high stakes for what you guys have ahead?
Yeah, well, again, we want to continue to coach it well, and we're not doing that to the level we need to do it. And I think it's shown up and it's hurt us a couple times. So hopefully we can start doing a better job of that.
You're wearing one right now, a sweatshirt for Division Street that you were promoting it too on social. Just the importance of NIL for your athletes and Division Street. I think Duck Rising, another one too. Just why is it important to you to push this stuff right now on social for you?
Yeah, I've said it before that college football is about to become the haves and the have-nots, and luckily, here at Oregon, we're in a place where we're one of the haves. We're in a place that's being innovative and finding ways to grow our student athletes brand. You know, what's fun about this stuff is, you know, our students actually partnered with designers and actually got to help create a clothing line, create a brand, you know, work with real professionals. It's not just you know, collective. It's an opportunity to actually grow professionally at the same time, and it supports our, you know, our players. And that'll always be my goal as a coach, is looking for opportunities to support our players. So any way that we're able to pour into you know, the growth of name, image, likeness, and growing the brand for our players, and doing it in a way that's going to help them become more successful in life. That's something we want to be able to do here, and certainly grateful for Division Street, Ducks Rising, all those groups that do so much for us.
On Bo's interception by Clark Phillips, Cam McCormick makes a diving tackle on that. Can you talk about the impact on that and what that play was like from your perspective?
Yeah, I was glad to see him get tackled down. You know, we've been really good at delivering those, and, you know, empty was really a productive formation for us, and it's been really productive for us all year, and that's the first time we've really, you know, been picked in that situation. So it was really an elite play by them. You know, that was a big time, you know, break on the ball. We want to get the ball there a little bit quicker, but obviously getting them down was big.
OSU is really extreme in its third and short conversions, and it's all runs. How is it that they are that effective when I'm supposing that many of the defensive coordinator loads the box, and yet they are still converting at that high a rate? And then how important is it then to, as it is all the time, but to knock them off that schedule of doing what they're clearly very good at?
Yeah, really for Coach Smith, I mean, third down, especially third and short, is second down, right? They have they plan on going for it on fourth. They're really aggressive on fourth. And most of the time, a lot of those runs are QB runs, right? Whether it's using Coletta or somebody like that. So when they use 11, you have to use 11 to stop them. And if you want to be really aggressive on defense and get an extra hat in the box, he's also proven that he'll throw a bomb, right? So it's tough to commit every hat down to the run. The key is really staying on schedule on first and second down defensively and not giving them those third and short opportunities. They're going to run it on third. You have to be prepared for it. And when they do, you want to have the extra hat. But again, it's going to come down to somebody winning a one-on-one when they're using 11 guys.
Just curious what you made of Dante Thornton's performance on Saturday and what he's kind of done with this opportunity with Chase still being out.
Yeah, really proud of Dante. I think all year he's positioned himself and gotten better as the year's gone on, you know, and he's proven that he's got elite speed and size. And I think those traits really carry over, especially when he'll push the ball down the field. You know, had some really big catches down the field on Saturday night. But he's a pleasure to work with every day. I enjoy, you know, everything that Dante brings to our program. He's an awesome kid. He comes in here with a smile. You know, and was actually experiencing a lot of adversity this weekend himself, you know, so for him to go have that performance, I know that meant a lot to him and certainly meant a lot to our team.
Just particularly in the last 2 weeks, Oregon State's dealt with a lot of key injuries. Obviously, they've still been able to pull off 2 convincing victories. What does that kind of say about the depth over there?
Yeah, it's that time of year where people are banged up, and I don't think anybody's playing completely healthy, but they've certainly done a great job of having impressive wins amidst adversity, right? And I think it shows a couple things. One, that it's a really well-coached team. You know, Coach Smith's done a really great job there developing over time, and I think they've proven that they can win in unique ways, right? Lean on their best personnel when needed, and do it several different ways. So great job by them. You know, credit to them and their staff, and credit to the people on their roster.
Now knowing what Bo can or can't do in a game, does that maybe allow you more opportunities this week to expand the playbook of what you can do or schematically be a little bit more advanced this week than maybe last week?
Maybe.
Defensively, Oregon State has a couple of really peculiar extreme splits in that a ton of their interceptions are on first down, in particular inside opponent territory. And yet they play off to where they keep the lid on the coverage by way of deep passes. How do they make those two things work in that you're not having a lot of pressure to keep it underneath, but at the same time have 7 interceptions on first down inside opponent territory? And how do you get that across the Bo on P and 10 in those early drive spots?
I'll tell Bo to watch this interview. You explained it really well. No, I mean, ultimately – You get more picks when you play with vision break defense. A lot of times that's zone, but they play a good complement of zone defense and also playing really like quarters man off, right, where they're able to have good vision. They break on the ball really well. I think they're really talented at DB. It's one of their strong positions, and they do a good job of coaching it. But they pitch a lot of different looks at you. This is one of the well-coached defenses that we're going to go against. And, you know, you got to take what's there. You can't take more. And we just can't be greedy. We got to stay on schedule and do a good job of that.
He was the only scholarship senior not to go through senior day, and he said he was seeking a waiver. But does decided or just very confident that Popo will be coming back and getting that extra year?
I know Popo wants to, and I know we certainly want to have him back. So we feel very confident that he's going to be able to do that.
Rivalry week press conference with Dan Lanning, Oregon football head coach. We're going to get a timeout when we come back. Matt Ulmer is here on a Tuesday because they're playing on a Wednesday. Oregon volleyball head coach joins us hunting for a Pac-12 championship on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Hey Duck fans, we're all about protecting our home turf here in Eugene. You should do the same for your home with Country Financial Insurance. Most home insurance doesn't account for inflation, but with Country Financial, yours can. If something happens to your home, make sure you can rebuild the same house in the same place. Call a local representative or 866-COUNTRY and get a solid defense for your home. Home insurance policies issued by Country Mutual Insurance Company, Country Casualty Insurance Company, or Country Preferred Insurance Company, Bloomington, Illinois. Property must meet age and condition requirements, which vary by state.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
This is an important message from the Mine Safety and Health Administration. Mining fatalities, accidents, and injuries are preventable. Taking a minute to approach your task safely can protect you and your fellow miners from injury and death. Staying alert and focused can keep you safe. Do it safe. Do it right. Whether buckling a seatbelt or securing equipment, these quick safety measures can prevent injuries and fatalities. Take time. Save lives. For more resources, visit MSHA.gov.
Farming is dangerous. There's dangers all around us.
We go through safety training and try and do these things to make sure accidents don't happen.
You don't want to hit a gas pipe because that's your life. The other part of it is if you hit certain things, you're liable for it.
Farm Safe 811 starts with you. Always call 811 and wait for any underground lines to be marked.
Always keep safety in the back of your mind. Just stay humble.
For more information, go to farmsafe811.org.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. Matt Ulmer, Oregon volleyball head coach, is here. Coach, how you doing?
Excellent. You?
Congratulations on a great weekend. Congratulations on a great season so far, and I'm really happy to know that it's not over yet.
Did you like my push-ups?
They were great. I also thought that your T-shirt accuracy to the fans you were aiming for was very good.
I was 10 for 10.
Were you really?
Yeah, I had the spots.
Now, if you weren't 10 for 10, would we know it?
What do you think?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, but for those of you that don't know what we're referring to, Coach Ulmer got honored for his 100th career win.
Mm-hmm.
That was at Autzen Stadium this past weekend, and so you got to have a little bit of fun with that, didn't you?
We had some fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I tried to pump up the crowd a little bit, you know?
You always do.
It was a tight game in the fourth quarter.
No, you always pump up the crowd. You know this.
Got to.
You
right?
know this.
Got to.
You pump up the
it was
crowd.
It was slightly cold, you know, so I just felt like we needed some warmth.
I have a serious question for you. Were you wearing socks and sandals?
I did not have sandals on. I did have socks on.
Okay.
And I had hand warmers in my toes.
That's good.
Of my shoes.
Oh, well done.
Thank you.
I had toe
That
warmers.
was clutch because they were cold.
Yeah, I had toe warmers on inside my shoes.
What are those?
Well, I did not know about them. Shout out John Sargent.
Okay, John. Nice.
The man behind the concessions for the University of Oregon Athletic Department. They're basically hand warmers, but they have like sticky on them, so you stick them to your sock.
Yeah, that would have been helpful because I kept like
great.
curling
Yeah.
mine to stay there.
Yeah. And you need a shoe that's a little bigger than normal. Yeah. So
that's why
it was phenomenal.
I mean, really, the socks with sandals it's pretty unstoppable.
Yes.
Except when I need to hold those hand warmer for my feet and my
right.
That didn't work.
But you pumped up the crowd.
Yeah, tried to.
And you pump up the crowd even mid volleyball match, don't you?
Sometimes I don't know.
do
Do I?
You do.
Okay, good.
Like every now and then you'll turn. Now volleyball is a unique sport because your team's bench isn't really like the seats. It's
Right.
actually,
Yeah.
down kind of behind the playing court. And so sometimes when you turn to them, I feel like you inadvertently sort of like fire up the crowd because they think you're turning to them.
I feel like I did
like
this weekend a little bit. I was like, come on, guys, let's bring it right there. Yeah, we had some tight ones. We needed that home court advantage.
Hey, you got a reverse sweep against USC.
Yeah.
11th straight win. Got that 5-set win over UCLA.
Yeah.
Good, successful weekend. Got some matches done the right way, didn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty high-level volleyball, and it was great to see us, do what we had to do to be successful. And I thought UCLA played really well against us. I thought their block was tough, and they played good defense, and we really had to earn everything we were getting. And then and that was the best anybody served against us all year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean they had a setter back there who had 8 aces against us, which I don't think that's ever happened ever in my career ever. I don't think it's close to that. Like that's probably like double what anybody's ever done. So it was quite the performance by her. So that was a struggle, but we found a way. And then USC, I thought they were just their offense was so good, and we just had a really hard time stopping them. So we just had to keep scoring. I thought, and we hit 430 for the match, which that's a big number. And so that was exciting to see a lot of people step up.
Mimi Collier had hit 25 kills a few times actually, and then had 29 in that match. Another record-setting performance from Mimi Collier, honored by the conference again. I can say this every week. Pretty awesome to see that though on Sunday, wasn't it?
She was extra special, I thought last Sunday at Utah was her best match, and then SC was better than that. So, I think she's stepping it up. She's just making some really great swings in tough situations, where it's really undefendable because she hits the block that goes so far off that you can't do anything about it. But I just think it's just the choices that she's making. She's starting to really understand, how to play the game, when to use a softer shot, or when to just control the ball a little bit more, and when she can be more aggressive. And again, she's fortunate to have the team around her that she does with our ball control, with Brooke and Georgia with her, and Daly and Hannah setting her, and so I think that just allows her to do what she does really well, and she's having so much success.
When you hit 430 as a team, it's easy to look at who's swinging, but then the setter. Pretty darn important when you hit 430.
Oh, man. Yeah. I mean, again, it's not like she's playing slouches, so it's like, you're playing pretty good teams, that have, intimidating blocks and good defenses. And she's just making really great choices. And again, just the tempo that she's running our offense, it's really fast. And it's, there's a lot of variety to it. And, she's just really accurate and sniffing out, what the defense is trying to do, and making good choices with those reads. And, she's just putting our hitters in really good spots.
Talking on a Tuesday with Oregon Volleyball head coach Matt Ulmer, because noon tomorrow, the Ducks are taking on Cal in Berkeley before senior night Friday evening on Black Friday, 6 o'clock in Eugene at Matthew Knight Arena. Okay, before we look ahead, I have to look back with you a little bit, because we are, you notice I'm doing this for you here.
Did you hear that?
Yeah. We are, as an athletic department, 1-0 in the Jordy era.
Really?
Yeah. It's very first Oregon athletics experience for my son. He's just over 3 months old.
What do you think?
Against UCLA. He had a great time.
Yeah, what was the debrief with him after?
So it was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. We had those earmuffs on, like we described last week, and he was in like a sensory deprivation chamber, it felt like. So look at these things, Coach. I mean,
perfect.
These things are intense. And when I took the headphones off of him, it was like he heard for the very first time. And, it's loud in Matthew Knight Arena. It was great. But I have to say, I understand that we need to work on his priorities, because he was not watching the volleyball match when he was drinking a bottle.
I mean, when we're in timeouts or in between sets, we're on the bench, the team, they're just eating the snacks anyway. They don't listen to me.
Oh.
So I think, it's the same.
So it's okay?
Yeah.
That was all right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you got to put those calories in,
Yeah, you do.
Yeah,
you do.
He's in the growth phase, I feel like, a little bit. He's not – he's bulking
all right,
now.
So I got to ask you, though, parent to parent now. He slept through shout, Coach.
That's good.
Is that good?
Absolutely.
How is that good?
The fact that he can sleep through shout, that means you're going to have a good sleeper.
That's because of the sensory deprivation headphones.
Okay.
I'm saying, like, his first shout experience,
well,
he was just like,
then I would
down.
say that's poor parenting, because how is he supposed to know shout was happening if he can't hear?
That's right. That's what I thought as well. That was my internal...
when I say poor parenting, I just mean you and not your wife.
That's
of course,
right.
obviously,
of course.
right? Yeah.
Of course.
If you don't give him the option,
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I really felt like my own debrief of the event, I really messed up as a parent.
Although, if he's sleeping, you probably just let him.
Yeah.
I think that's
the
fine.
advice.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anytime you went to
the
sleep,
advice.
that's good.
Yeah. 1-0. And also, I will just share this very quickly. I was at an establishment for dinner before said volleyball match. I went out with the family, and they had, I'm not kidding you, a beverage that was called Socks and Sandals. This is true.
We knew.
This is a true story.
We knew then UCLA didn't stand a chance.
That's what I was saying. That's what I thought. So I have to say, I texted that to you.
Which I got before the match.
I was surprised you responded before the match.
It actually calmed me really well.
Did it?
I was like, so no matter what happens, we'll pull through.
It zened you?
Yeah. I actually think I used that in the post game.
Did you really?
I think I told somebody. Yeah.
Yeah. So
sometimes that's all you need.
All right, we have to look back a little bit, but yeah, thanks for a tremendous experience.
So what's his next one? Let's put some pressure on somebody.
That's a good question. Friday, I will unfortunately be in Portland with the Oregon basketball team, not able to make it to Oregon volleyball.
Why is that unfortunate?
Well, it's unfortunate that I can't bring him to volleyball.
Oh, I see.
So,
okay.
We'll have to. Well, maybe.
But I'm happy you have a job.
Hey, thank you. Me
You're
too.
welcome.
Maybe NCAA tournament.
Okay, there we go.
That would be nice.
Yeah, let's go 2-0 then.
It's important then to finish strong, isn't it? I mean, you're on a great winning streak right now, but hitting the road, then senior night, it's a little bit of a shorter week. How does that impact things as you get ready for the final regular season week and then postseason?
Yeah, I mean, we just want to be playing our best. We want to be clicking. We want to be sharp. We want to have everybody know exactly what they're trying to do, and then just go out and perform. So, I mean, we get 2 more opportunities to do that this week. Before playoffs go, and I think it's just really about us, and it has been. And I think again, if we just go 1 point at a time and we do everything together, it's a really talented group, and they're going to make plays and they're going to do a lot of great things. And I think you're seeing that. Yeah. Doesn't mean we're perfect, but it means I think what you've seen throughout this whole season is that their focus is there. Their care is there. Their work ethic is there. And that's going to take you a long way.
Keys to success on the road against Cal in particular.
Yeah, serving tough, always, again, especially in a road environment, so can you apply pressure there? And then, again, we're siding out really well. Can we just continue to do that?
Senior night. Bittersweet.
Friday.
Yeah. You ready?
No, not at all.
I understand.
Yeah. I'm not okay with it.
Can you tell us about your seniors nonetheless?
Nope, not doing it. Okay.
He's Matt Ulmer, the Oregon volleyball head coach.
Carson Bacon and Gloria Mutiri and Brooke Nuneviller. 3 pretty great ones that mean a lot to our program. So that's going to be, again, this whole year just trying to just enjoy each and every day because I think they're just so special and this group is special. And again, wins, losses, we'll see what happens. But just the joy that we have just, coming to work every day and just being with this group, we don't get to do that once they go. They're going to forget about us and go be pros and whatever they decide to do. And, so I'm just going to miss them. They're really wonderful human beings.
6 o'clock on Friday, senior night. Fans, send them off the right way, huh?
Oh, yeah. Let's pack the place. Come on.
And then
it's the Beavers.
Yeah,
we got to do it. Everybody needs to be there.
It's rivalry week.
It's what it is.
It's rivalry week. Got to take care of business on the road first, I know, but it's going to be important on Friday. That's a big night.
Yeah.
What'd we miss? Anything else fans should know?
Selection show is Sunday.
Okay. Yep.
So pay attention to that. We're hoping, that we're just going to continue to play good volleyball and that we'll be hosting. And then that would be next Friday and Saturday at Matthew Knight Arena. So our RPI is 9 right now, which puts us in a good spot to be able to do that. So can we just continue to play good volleyball and have that chance to be at home? And we're 11-0 at home this year.
That's right.
And hoping to be 12-0, after Friday. And we're not planning to lose if we host in the playoffs, right? So let's just make sure we keep that environment going, which everybody's done a great job this year. You all have. We have. Collectively.
Matt Ulmer.
Sports.
He is the Oregon volleyball head coach. Safe travels. Thanks for doing it a day early.
Thanks.
And looking forward to senior night. Looking forward to being back at Matthew Knight Arena a few more times.
Okay, let's do it.
All right, let's do that.
Thanks.
Go 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like the sound of that. Oregon volleyball head coach. Noon, Wednesday, 6 o'clock, Friday at Matthew Knight Arena, senior night. Going to get a timeout, come back, talk a little bit more football. It's rivalry week. Beavers, the matchup, both volleyball and football. Rivalry week on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Jordy for the win.
At Shadow Hills Country Club, our all-inclusive event pricing allows us to take care of all of the details while you enjoy your event. Our wedding garden, expansive grounds, ballroom, and meeting rooms can accommodate any size event and come complete with full catering and service staff. From weddings to business and social events, Shadow Hills offers the benefits of a resort atmosphere and the peace of a country setting just minutes from downtown Eugene. For more details, call us today or go to shadowhillsevents.com.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union, onpointcu.com. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield.
Question: what will you find on all over-the-counter or OTC medicine packages to help you choose the right drug and use it safely? The answer: the drug facts label. This label lists the medicine's active ingredients and purpose, how much to take, and warnings you should know before using it. Remember, even OTC medicines you buy without a prescription can cause side effects you don't want. So follow the information listed on the drug facts label. For more information, visit fda.gov/drug facts label. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Back inside the Country Financial Studio. Whoa, that's... Alex has actual hands instead of the hand that he can write on. Sports! Back inside the Country Financial Studio. Duck Insider presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Heard from Coach Ulmer, heard from Coach Lanning, heard from Rob Mullens. A lot of good stuff on the show today. On tomorrow's show, because of the shortened week with the holiday, we've got Dan Lanning after practice. He'll be coming off the practice field tomorrow morning. We'll have that for you to lead things off. Jerry and Jorgie will be with us for some game keys, and we're going to make some picks. Also, Bo Nix met with the media today. Ryan Walk met with the media today. Cam McCormick met with the media today. Stephen Jones met with the media today. And there will be more student athletes that meet with the media after practice tomorrow. Alex Simpson and the entire Quack Video crew has you covered on the Go Ducks YouTube. We'll have as many of those interviews for you as we can on the show tomorrow. Big preview. A lot going on. See you then.
Unused prescription opioid pain medicines can spell trouble. They can spell risk if taken by someone they weren't prescribed for, harm if accidentally taken by a child or pet, or overdose if they're not used as directed. Safely dispose of opioids before they can hurt your family. Find a drug take-back option such as medicine drop boxes. You may find these in your community at local pharmacies or police stations. Visit www